earliest memories of fishing is going up to Stanage with me pop. You know, mum and dad were working, so school holidays I'd go up there with my grandparents and you know, sort of the basics, go and drag net for some bait and soak a bait and hope for a feed of brim and grunner and cod and all the sort of stuff we take for granted now.
Ooh. Righty.
Oh, my first memories of fishing were up at Stanage Bay. We used to go up there quite regularly, most school holidays. It was quite a trip up there then. And
It's still good to go back though and fish with the bait and try and catch some reds and that sort of stuff. You know, you sort of develop and you start getting into lure fishing and you're targeting more your sport species.
from there, I guess, you know, I ventured into starting fishing with mates. Most of it was offshore. And a couple of my mates had bigger boats, and we used to do, you know, overnight trips, go to a lot of, you know, reef places.
I learned how to offshore fish with Dad and his mates. They were fishing off Yeppoon a lot, and you know, once I was old enough to start going out with them, started taking it all in. And I guess back then people also didn't really think about tides and moons and all that sort of stuff. It was just go fishing when the weather's good, and I sort of started working out when I was catching different fish and put that into play. And then you sort of start taking over, and you start, as you get older, you start taking your parents out and teaching them new things. I'm hoping one day, you know, it'll be the same for me. Nixon will start taking me out, and he'll be a lot more advanced at fishing than what I am.
With Liam, I guess we started a little bit smaller. Brim, salmon, the occasional offshore trip, not too many when he was younger. And as we moved on, I guess we started doing a lot more sports fishing in the way of barramundi, luring. But yeah, that's where it come down, I guess, from Dad to myself to Liam. That's something that we can certainly look forward to with Nixon, who is 5 now. And yeah, it won't be too long before he's been able to throw a lure or a frog and have a bit of fun at Awoonga.
I can remember when I was younger, there'd be me, Dad, me pop, out in the little tinny. We only had a little 13 foot. And then we bought a centre console. It'd still be like out of Stanage, there'd be me, Dad, and me pop, going and chasing reefies, and then we got a better boat. Then we started going and chasing barra, and then you know, your boats just keep getting better. And it was always, still the three of us fish together now. You know, it was only a couple of months ago I had him out in 60 metres of water catching nannies. He was whinging about how hard it was.
Another 2 on the wingman jig.
Poppy's got one good one.
Poppy's rooted. Cutting up.
Not bad for 80.
I guess when we moved to Gladstone, that's when it sort of really kick-started the passion. You know, I went from fishing when we could to be able to fish when we wanted. So many options, you know. Back then we had the Awoonga was still in its prime. You've got the Great Barrier Reef on your doorstep. All the estuary systems around here. That's where we sort of really developed the passion, and that's where the fishing grew when we started getting into lure fishing. And Dad taught me about lure fishing. And the beauty here is, you know, you can always go out the reef and get a feed. You got coral trout and red throat. It's just so good to see the mentality of fishing change. Back when I was a kid, you know, it was all about catch and keep. And, you know, through, I guess, social media and those sort of things, the mentality of anglers has changed, and it's now, it's better to let fish go. You get more enjoyment out of releasing fish. And you see that through the younger anglers now. They're all about catch and release. It's so important for me to teach that to my son, because, you know, I want him to grow up with the lifestyle I had.
You know, it's sort of a progression, but yeah, a lot more sports fishing now. You know, a lot of mentality has changed in that as well. We don't take, you know, nowhere near the amount of fish that we used to. We do release a lot of fish. Matter of fact, most of the estuary fish we do release. We don't obviously keep anything out of a dam.
With the way fishing is going, fishing's cool now, and it's cool to release fish.
And once again, you know, I'm sure that'll pass on to Nixon through Liam and myself, and hopefully it'll keep going so that for generations we'll have fish to catch.
So that's going to help the future generations be able to enjoy that sport fish for many years to come. And keeping the place clean is just as important as anything. You know, I try and drum that into him now at 5 years old. If you take something out there, you bring it home, or bring home more than what you take out there. You bring it home and you feel good about it. Yeah, obviously I want to teach my son about fishing and give him that lifestyle growing up, you know. And so he's pretty lucky. He's got a foot in the door to learn about fishing pretty early. You know, I didn't learn about lure fishing until I was a lot older. And he's out there now at 5 years old wanting to throw lures. Doesn't matter what he's catching. He's enjoying catching them. He's pretty lucky, you know. He's got me teaching him how to fish. He's got my father teaching him how to fish, and my grandfather teaching him how to fish. You know, not too many people get the opportunity to fish with 4 generations of fishermen. He's developed from going and soaking a bait now to try and catch a red, to dropping vibes and jigs down catching reds. So, you know, where's it going to be in 15 years when he's taking me out?
I just get so much enjoyment about the grandchildren catching fish. You know, it doesn't matter what species it is. If they're catching fish, you know, you can see the joy on their face, and I think that's what it's all about. You know, just making sure they enjoy it.
Yeah, I love catching fish, but sometimes it's more rewarding watching your kids catch fish. You know, they might not be huge fish, but the look on their face when they're pulling that fish in and when they get it in the boat or on the bank, is there much better than that?
You know, you can see people progress. I've seen it with Liam. You know, I've seen him progress. I'm sure my dad's seen me progress through the stages, and you know, it leads to so much healthy activity.
I was fortunate enough to grow up fishing, and that's turned into a career for me, and I hope I can pass that on to my kids.
And I'll do a lot less work, hopefully, and I'll be able to take Nixon as he gets older for quite a few trips. So,
and grow up fishing, and maybe one day run the shop. Who knows?
Hopefully that's how it'll work out, and we'll keep passing the passion on.